If you would like to sell your house fast for cash in Mount Dora or Mount Plymouth in Florida, be sure to contact us at Fiesta Home Buyers. We're very interested in these two cities because of their location and population growth trajectory. Mount Dora has a very romantic and rustic feel that has been preserved from its founding in the late 1800s. Its diverse socioeconomic structure was sparked by the railroad in 1887 and once again by Route 441 in 1958. The vast array of occupations in Mount Dora shows a stark difference to its smaller neighboring city of Mount Plymouth. Even though only 5% of the city's population is below the poverty line, it may be surprising that residents of Mount Plymouth do bypass realtors in favor of selling their house fast for cash to an investor. Part of the reason is that those who are wealthy can be victims of unemployment just like the middle class. Also, it's becoming common knowledge that selling to an investor can be more profitable under a special terms agreement. Here we can see a modest house with a pre-World War II architectural design. It's similar to other houses which are found in Mount Dora's Oakland Park neighborhood. The owner was presented with the option of selling his house fast for cash, but opted for a leasing strategy instead. After the decision was made, the house remained vacant for a time in order to do some cosmetic renovations for a future renter. This put the seller in a position to collect rent for an extended time without having to be concerned about maintenance or collecting monthly payments. At the end of this period, the tenant will buy the house for a predetermined price, or it will be purchased by the investor. Of course, there are situations in Mount Dora and other places throughout Lake County where selling a house fast for cash is the only option. This is mainly with ugly houses that require a good deal of renovation. A homeowner can easily sell an ugly house to an investor who has money to do the repairs so it can be flipped through a short-term sale. In this situation, the seller may be disappointed that he has to sell the house at a deep discount, but unless he has the money and resources to upgrade the house, there's really no other alternative. Selling to a realtor is not an option because the seller will probably be getting the same amount of money. Here's a table of the hidden costs that I presented to a seller in Mount Dora. It had a market value of $250,000 in the event extensive repairs were done. With this information, he was able to understand what to expect when selling an ugly house through a realtor. Aside from the costly renovations, the 6% realtor commissions is enough to make the seller happy to talk with an investor like Fiesta Home Buyers. This table should also be pivotal for many for sale by owner sellers who list their house at market price on Zillow when their house is obviously distressed. Some are bent on digging their heels in so that it takes a financial emergency for them to agree to sell their house fast for cash to a real estate investor. Looking at this picture, we can see a home whose owner fits into this category. His story of deciding to sell his house fast for cash is common in the lower tier of ugly house investment. He was actually raised in this Mount Dora house, but then moved out of Florida. When his mother passed away, he found himself with a house that he couldn't properly maintain. Like many distressed homeowners, he wanted to sell the house, but chose to wait, thinking that the house would go up in value. After 7 years, the property value did go up, but the cost of the periodic liens from the city overshadowed the benefit of waiting. Not only that, the renters that he's put in the house through the years frequently chose not to pay the rent, and the eviction process became a recurring nuisance. The current tenant is obviously a hoarder, as evidenced by the miscellaneous stuff under the tarp. The front yard is littered with toys and other junk that's hiding in the tall grass. For years, the city liens on this property have been accumulating, and so a foreclosure will be inevitable if the owner does not sell to an investor. It's interesting to note that even if a foreclosure is soon pending, the homeowner will still have the ability to sell the house fast for cash before it's too late. Realtors can never handle a pre-foreclosure deal because they often require between 3 to 5 months before the house is sold. Now it becomes clear as to why real estate investors are essential to the housing ecosystem. At face value, there's nothing unusual about this home in Mount Plymouth. It's stylish and attractive, but to the left of the picture there's a large patch of grass that's growing out of control. When I first saw this, I asked myself why the homeowner didn't finish the job. Now I firmly believe it's because the owner isn't the one living there. The occupants are renters that haven't been properly vetted. Because the owner lives far away, the renters are not held accountable for doing satisfactory lawn care. This problem can create a dire situation where the city puts liens on the property without the landlord knowing it. If this is the case, then it would make sense for the landlord to sell the house fast for cash to an investor. Not only can the burden of the bad tenants be lifted, the liens can be bargained down to a manageable amount. Seasoned investors are accustomed to removing blockages like this to ensure a successful closing. In summary, depending on your situation, you may want to consider selling your house fast for cash if you are unable to do repairs and are under a strict deadline. Those who are not in a hurry to sell can expect a higher price by opting for a lease-to-purchase program. The worst mistake that a seller can make in Mount Dora or Mount Plymouth is working with a realtor because it feels normal. Following the status quo may be comfortable in the beginning, but you are opening yourself up to unreasonable fees that can eat up your profit. When working with an experienced investor, the selling process becomes streamlined with a predictable outcome.